Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well. Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government...
Real quick, let's go right to introductions. Chris Suter, and I'm the chair.
Jerry Hamill, committee member.
Mark Furlong, member.
We usually go members and then I'll go.
Jeannie Wright, vice chair.
Julie Gilman, select board rep. I am remote and I'm alone in the room.
And I am Melissa Roy, interim town manager.
Awesome. Thank you. Sorry, I was screaming in, but honestly, I was having issues with my computer, my printer, and I was trying to get the stuff printed up that we got some. I printed. Okay. I couldn't go. And I was like, I just have to leave, so. Anyways, but at least there's cookies and somebody better have one before we go. So today, is there any minutes to go over?
They didn't.
I hate to ask
No
that
packet
question.
went out. I didn't see a packet, but I printed the minutes.
That's what I was just, it's funny, because I was just gonna say, so
Sorry.
Jeannie did them, so you can either decide to table them until the next meeting, or Jeannie printed them out if you'd like to read them now. And there you go. Can you?
Those are beautiful.
She did a good job.
I think you emailed them, right?
They were on the website.
Julie, they're on the website, or I can email them to you. Which would you prefer?
I got them in the email.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great.
Okay, well, if you guys want to take a moment just to glance at it if you haven't. And I'd much prefer we don't put any more minutes pushed off, so.
I see an amendment already that under the minutes of May meeting, that should say motion passed 4-0, and it's a typo, it says 409, like the cleaner, apparently.
Okay. So Jeannie, do you want to take the corrections that if they come up, if they vote any corrections, and if it would be a vote to approve or not approve the minutes as amended, and then you can send them to me and we can post the amended minutes online if
Sure,
that's how it
yeah.
is voted.
Great.
Thank you.
Is this something we need to make a motion on?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
Second?
Got a quick question. On motion to recommend the old veterans, we wanted to put it on, but we didn't all recommend it. Is that just a, because we had talked about, we all wanted it to be on the,
Right,
The
there's a
budget.
difference between whether or not
there's
we
a difference
recommend it.
between this as to how this reads and what actually happened, so. that would be-
We all agreed that the townspeople should have the opportunity to vote on it, I think is kind of,
And that's how it says, motion to recommend the all veterans tax credit to the select board to be included in this year's warrant. That's the motion that was made, and it was
Okay.
voted on. It was seconded,
Yeah,
and it was 4-0.
Right, but that was just to recommend it to be put onto the tax. And I did say something about, that's fine, I would like to see it on the warrant, but I just want to make sure that, they find it, because you look at this and it says like we all recommend it, and we really didn't.
well, we all recommended that it be considered by the voters.
Right, but we didn't all recommend the actual, issues with it.
Sorry, I just need to move something on your screen. Sorry.
Did we decide, we decided at one point to change the optional vets tax credit and moved it up to 2,500? Is that, or,
Yes, that is accurate, and it's gonna be in the report that Christine and I put together. I did go back, that was in the July meeting.
So how much?
2,000 to 2,500 for I forget which one it was, but I went back and looked at the July minutes, the transcript to
Yeah.
see what was in there, but yeah.
And that
so
was
the
just
all veterans
combination.
tax credit would be the same as that, but we can phase it in over 3 years?
The all veterans
No, the
tax credit has to match the optional, which was kept at 500 according to the July minutes. It was the certain disabled veterans tax credit of 2,000 increased to 2,500.
And it really didn't increase they could get to 5 and they could get to 2, but they can't get them separately. Janet says you have to get them as one.
Yeah.
So that's why we changed it, so that now we didn't really increase it, we basically put it so they could get them both, because they could only get 1 credit.
Okay. What's hard to decipher in the July meeting? Okay. So they would be like being penalized for getting it.
So anyway, I mean, that's the only thing I see, is if we can make
So
it,
that would be the disabled veteran
right,
credit.
that's a
It's currently $2,000.
Right.
So that's the one that's correct.
That's the one from July's minutes, that's not in these, we didn't talk about this last month, but I think, is that what you're referring to?
Who, me?
Yeah, so I think we need to focus, so we're talking about the minutes, and so we have one thing coming up from Jerry, and I think what you're asking isn't relevant to this, or is it to the minutes?
Sorry, I was trying to think.
Yeah, I'll just talk about the all veterans tax credit when you get to it, or if you get to it.
Okay. So can we be okay with this wording? Because it does say, and I know what you meant, and I agree with what you mean. It's the motion to recommend the all veterans tax credit select board to be included in this year's warrants. I mean,
I would like to see something in the beginning of the board was.
Typically what happens is that when there's something that's gonna be on the warrant that's been recommended by a committee such as ours, then we will have an opportunity
speak.
in like February
Oh, yeah.
to take a position on that before it actually goes to town meeting.
You're just to interrupt you, so because you're gonna give a presentation to the select board on the 27th,
Yeah.
at which time I took that as, which you see the bullet right under, it says no committee agreed to provide summary of discussions with all recommendations to the select board. So you're gonna provide that summary, which is I think what you and Jeannie have been working on.
Yes. Yep.
And then you're gonna speak to it to say, if you so choose,
Yep.
this was a really difficult decision. I think that was a quote Mark had, this is the, and that's what you're gonna tell the board.
Yep.
But the recommendation that, in that motion was to move it to the select board, not necessarily to recommend the credit.
Okay.
So that's how I took it. If you want
I
to
would
change,
concur with that.
if you want to change that, you would have to make a motion to rescind that motion
Well, the big
and
thing is,
re-vote it.
I think
So-
the big thing, I'm just trying to read these really quick, and I didn't see that line.
Gotcha.
So because of that, now that I see the line, I feel a little bit better about that on it. If you feel the same way, but I feel better with that now.
And Jerry, I think it is important, the whole board wanted to make sure that the select board knew that there was a lot of discussion amongst each other, and that's gonna be your opportunity to tell them that.
Okay. Then I
Thank
guess-
you, Jeannie, it's a lot of work.
So we need a second on the minutes as amended, I think, still.
I'll second.
And then Christine, if you're ready, if there's been a second, then you would,
Oh, all those in favor? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Aye.
I apologize for keeping.
Actually,
Anyone opposed?
no, we need to do a roll call when we have someone on Zoom.
Yes.
Chris?
We did, right?
So you have to do a roll call, so.
Every vote has to be by
Every
roll
vote.
call.
When you have a member via Zoom, thank you, Mark.
Chris Suter, aye.
Jeannie Wright, aye.
Mark Furlong, aye.
Jerry Hamel.
Julie Gilman, aye.
All right, motion passes. Move it on. Okay, so the second thing we're gonna talk about is going to the select board meeting. Is it confirmed?
I have you on my list. We don't confirm the agenda until the Wednesday before when the chair makes the final decision. However, when it's usually residents or a committee, he usually makes that a priority. So I would be very surprised, but I will let you know by Wednesday, Christine, if that's okay.
Yeah. So maybe we'll just kind of sort of assume it's a go.
Yeah, I would
I talked about earlier today.
Yeah, I would
Assumptions.
I plan on going, but I just can't promise it because it is technically the chair of the board that sets the agenda. So
Right.
just being honest.
So in pencil, select board meeting.
On the 27th.
We have to be like.
Wait, 27th of November?
October.
October. So, Jan, no, I guess.
I thought we talked about our select board meeting in November.
October.
I thought it
Way
was
back, we said October or November, and then at our last meeting, we talked about.
I lost them on somewhere.
Okay, yep, so today we're going over, what we, put together, and then again, and then just simply to discuss, what we put together is very much block, framework, bullets, and then, you know, just as far as presenting and talking to and sharing our opinions and rationale to the board. So.
I know, I feel bad. I don't, lack of planning, I thought of this at the end, I'm so sorry. This is, so we don't, now Julie doesn't have a copy.
She does not. Julie, I'm going to take a picture of it and send it to you on your phone, okay?
And it's front and back, there's 2 pages, I just,
Okay.
Yeah, so we wanted to make it as easy. Chris did a really good job, and I kind of put it in the table format because what Chris talked about was that they're not going to read a bunch of words. They really want to see what it is that we're recommending. And we put some rationale, and I have a feeling that's where we're going to probably get caught up into what wants to be advised. But I also think we talked last month, you're right, about having our opportunity to speak to the select board when we're there.
Yep.
So,
and I think each individual will have their opportunity to get up there to speak and say whether they agreed with something or disagreed and why, if they choose to. Sadly, being the chair is probably for me to be the first one to speak, but you know, this is gonna go in front of them. And it's just basically what we voted on. And whether, you know, we voted to increase something or not increase something or not decrease something. And then again, it's the optional veterans tax credit. It replaces the all veterans tax credit, and then the all veterans tax credit adopts the all veterans tax credit. It's so confusing. This is gonna be hard.
I'm not sure that this is accurate, that it replaces, that the all veteran replaces the optional. Does it?
It does. It does. I thought it
Does.
Oh, okay.
it does. So you have one or the other. So the optional veterans tax credit is the one that is for service. I actually had to go on and actually look up the actual language on this in the RSA's. So it's the optional, what we have now is called the optional tax credit, which means only service qualified vets get it for $500. If we adopt the all veterans, that goes away and the all veterans credit takes its
I
place.
don't believe that's accurate.
I thought we could have one or the other, and I'm mad at myself.
Because all the reports from DRA
Yeah.
list for the towns that have adopted the all veterans, still lists both amounts. And for both the optional, the standard is $50. The optional is
Is
whatever,
anything above that, yeah.
whatever the town is, you know, whatever the
Yeah.
municipality has adopted above that. But it would seem like if it replaced it, that column on the DRA report would be zero.
I don't know, I've always understood that well, if you qualify for the services connected, you would qualify for the all veterans anyhow. You couldn't do both, so you have one or the other.
Correct.
Yeah.
One
So
or the
maybe
other.
the language isn't about replacing it, but it would.
Would add it, but you wouldn't be eligible. You couldn't stack them.
Right.
You couldn't get both.
Pretty sure that
Yeah.
the statute says that if you qualify for the optional veterans credit, you do not qualify for the all veterans credit.
No, it's the other way around.
Oh my God.
This
The other
is
way around.
brutal.
I'm sorry that I thought we were done with the veterans credit. I didn't bring that with me.
No, it's just, and every time you walk away, I can walk away from this discussion for 90 seconds and
still have
go,
to go look it up.
wait, which one was that again? I mean, it's just,
Oh,
It's
here
so
we go.
frustrating.
Veterans credits.
So.
I think why it's vague is because the standard is for the all veterans tax credit. The standard is for the what do you say? Which one does they use the standard tax credit? And since we have two different figures for the standard and the optional, if we adopt the all veterans tax credit, then we can do a increase over 3 years until we get to the optional tax credit amount.
But that was a phase in that
The difference,
that's been sunsetted.
Yep.
I think it was about 10 years ago when that was adopted, and it was only, if you adopted it, I think before it was 2016 that you could do that phase in. I'm going by memory, but not always good, right?
Yeah, maybe, honey.
So the veterans tax credit, the standard is 50, optional up to 750, which is what we use now. So we have an optional that at $500, which is, but we have I believe that it's the veterans tax credit, and it has the qualifications of the certain times of war. The all veterans tax credit is option B, which says it has the same amount as the veteran. So whatever the same of the veterans tax credit we have now, which is $500, which is what we would have. But I couldn't think of a reason why somebody would need to have one without the other. Like, I think if we have it, you could apply regardless if you 90 days in service. But if it doesn't pass, then we're gonna still have that optional, the veterans tax credit with the optional up to $500. And I think that's why we call it optional.
It's not up to, it is $500.
Yeah.
It's $500, sorry, yeah.
Yes.
And the 72, yeah, go ahead.
Well, we will have to establish the amount of money that we're going to give for the optional tax credit. So if it's, for the all vets tax credit. So if it's the same as the optional tax credit, then there it is.
Yeah,
We be the same.
That's what
just
we talked about this last month, yeah.
Okay. It's just a difference of who it applies to. You know, all the folks that didn't serve in armed conflict and didn't serve for 20 years, don't get a whole lot of benefits, actually.
Is it necessary that we say something's replacing, or want to be?
Just that we're recommending to.
Yeah, because if there's somewhere else where they say, well, no, you can't apply for both, you have to apply for one or the other, blah, 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 or this replaces that, maybe we don't need to have that in here?
What I was gonna say is
It's
we could
confusing.
go to the select board and say, we are voting to put it, we are recommending that you consider putting it on the warrant for the all veterans credit, and have Melissa, you can ask them to have me do the legal work of finding out, do we have to one or the other or both? And if they're both the same amount, which I believe is if the recommendation, if it were to get passed, and I know you're saying you're maybe not for the all veterans credit, but if it goes to the voters, your expectation is that the all veterans credit be the same, which I think is a requirement, as the optional. And I can get the legal stuff for you. I apologize that I don't have it right here, but I thought
I'll say that the state laws are poorly written, and this whole section should be revised. Because all veterans tax credit would be the same as the optional one. The optional one serves people who have served in battle, or served in, what's the word?
Time of conflict.
Yes, thank you, armed conflict. But the all veterans tax credit covers folks that didn't serve in any capacity in an armed conflict, whether in service or in support services.
Can we simply say that they can apply for one or the other?
that's a requirement of the law. So I'm sort of here, right? So we've got 7228, which is our standard and optional. And I don't remember, what are we at, 500?
500, yeah.
And then if you go down to the all veterans credit, it says this credit must be adopted by a municipality, which would be in the warrant. And then this credit is the same amount as RSA 7228, which is your standard and optional.
Okay.
Right, so it doesn't say you can't have one or the other, but they have to be the same amount. And I think that's what we spoke about last time.
And Mark's right, on the report, it shows both lines, and in the towns that have both, and I think this might be why.
Yeah.
Because if suddenly they change it,
Right.
suddenly somebody makes a decision to forgo the all veterans, those people would still qualify for the first one. So I think you're one or the other, so I think you're right, it's not replacing, I think it's adding, it's introducing.
Yeah, it says one of the other qualification requirements is not eligible for and is not receiving a credit under RSA 7228 or RSA 7235, which are your optionals, meaning if you qualify for your optional, you get that, but if you don't qualify as a veteran, you can get your all veteran. So they can't, like I said, they can't get both of them. I think we're just giving the ability for those that don't qualify for your optional for your
Right.
veterans.
So then going back to what I said, can we say, one or the other?
Yes.
And just so the notes, so say replace, right?
Yeah, so I think the word we're looking, we propose the all veterans tax credit.
Stays the same.
Well, no, sorry, I'm saying.
The optional rather stays the same.
Right, but what we're proposing is that we now make the recommendation to voters of the idea to add the all veterans, are we adding it?
We have to adopt it.
Yes,
So we're gonna say for optional veterans tax credit, no change.
correct.
So that's gonna say no change, okay?
Right.
And then when we go to the all veterans, tax credit,
We're gonna add it.
You're gonna adopt it, like you
Adopt
said.
it, yeah.
Because the law does not allow them to get both, so the law.
so we don't have to worry about
Right.
saying this or that or the other, okay?
So,
Yes.
remains the
Right. I
same,
feel like we're on
and
the
then the
So
all.
recommend to adopt,
Yeah, so that's easy, that's.
or recommend to, I know, I don't wanna say adopt,
Put
but
on the warrant to.
Yeah.
ask
For consideration
For
to
consideration by
adopt,
the
yeah.
voters, yep. Correct.
recommend to
Yeah.
put on warrant, how's that,
Perfect.
for adoption? Okay.
Clear as mud we all are, no.
So that was the hardest part, I think, just that right there. Because I think we were all good, I think, with the elderly exemptions, once we worked through that and our recommendations for some increases.
I do want to mention something that kind of got overlooked. We did at one point vote to increase the blind exemption from $15,000 to $25,000.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that is in the minutes, we've approved them, so we didn't have that before. And then
Right.
we did make, I put the things that we formally voted on. I left everything else, so we can talk about that. There are certain things we passed by, like we were like, we don't need to worry about that now, and I think that's what we talk about, that we can continue to work on that, but.
In the winter.
But yeah, so we did say those, so the certain disabled veterans credit there was a vote to change, the current is $2,000, and maybe we need to revise that language, because you all are saying that it was $2,000 plus $500, like what? That's not what I pulled out of the minutes, but I haven't done them yet, so.
This is July.
This is July's
Unfortunately,
meeting.
it wasn't.
I have the transcript and I pulled out like what I could see was voted on. And the vote was to increase the $2,000 disabled veteran credit from $2,000 to $2,500.
Yeah, I think Janet is the one that could clear that up, because she was the one that told us it's two of them now, and they can only get one, so we'd have to actually increase that, so they're getting the same amount.
Yes. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
And so we did.
I think
And
that
that's
if they
what-
qualify for this, they can't qualify for the optional.
Yeah. And the optional being 2,500.
Oh, so it just
Right.
includes them. Oh, that's right, you can't double dip,
You
she
can't,
said.
so you can only
right.
get one of them, so
So in order to rectify that,
that's why we
you want
changed
me,
it to
okay.
20.
But it's still a recommendation to increase it.
Right.
And we are increasing that limit to pull in the other, well, that's the recommendation anyhow.
I guess my question is right now then, for the warrant, do we want to have all of these on? Or do we want to take certain ones to have them on? Because I think the biggest thing is the more we have on, the more people get a little bit queasy about voting on them the way they should be.
So we have one overall on the elderly, I think.
Right,
I think
there'll be
there's
one on
two,
the
there's
elderly.
one, and there'll be one on the blind, and then the couple of veterans changes.
So we're up to 4 right there, so
I would leave that decision to the Board of Selectmen.
Yep,
I
I was
agree.
same. Yep, they can decide whether it's too much. Trust me, they are thinking about the dollars and the impact
Oh, yeah.
every second of the
I
day.
saw the budget.
Yeah, I was already been in a meeting today about this. So then we need to know the rationale for changes to veterans tax credit. We'll have to change that.
Yeah, I think I'd also like to, I think on the elderly exemptions, I think we should really be I think how the warrant is presented is gonna be really interesting, because I do think it's gonna be on people's mind. We're all reading articles right now about the budget increases, it's gonna be on everyone's minds. But I also think that it's also gonna have the biggest help, I think, in my opinion. Like, I think that helping some of the elderly and people that are really gonna be struggling, I think that this is, that to me, that's where I think we should focus, but we should also think about like how that warrant is messaged so that people say, oh, I see the counter of that. Like, it's one thing to say, oh, this is dollars and cents to me, but there's a dollars and cents involved and people stop paying their tax bills as well. So I think there has to be some type of reality in like, I mean, and I will tell you that I know that people that I've seen are struggling to pay.
Well, that's where we have the opportunity when we stand in front of the select board.
Right, that's
share
what I'm
that
saying.
message, yeah.
But I want to just make sure that we frame that. And well, he's asking like, do we want to minimize? I'm thinking that to me.
I think it's the most important thing. But I think the
Oh, yeah.
explanation, because there's so many, I don't think people realize when you look at like the MS1 in 2023, you look at that figure, then you look at the MS1 in 2024, it doesn't give you the actual dollar amount, but when you look at it, it's staggering, because you say, well, we have lost like a couple $1 million in equity, but we haven't. We actually paid $50,000 less in 24 than we did in 23. So I think there's a lot of things that people really need to know, and that what we're suggesting, like, that's why I think some of the things we have are very important. You know, we know that the 50%. To equalize it, we're actually looking at 30. So, you know, we're not really, we could be going for a lot more. And actually, I think I think people are gonna need a good understanding about this. It's not like this is gonna cost the town any more money.
So if I may ask, because I wasn't here on one of the meetings where you guys were voting, so were these all voted to be recommended to the board for 2026 warrant, or did you say elderly this year, veterans 27, like did you determine years, or were
We
these?
didn't have that discussion
You didn't,
at all.
okay.
No,
Thank you.
I think we
wasn't sure.
kind of just were thinking 2026.
All of these in 26, okay,
Yep,
okay.
that was my
If
understanding.
that's too many, I think the select board can.
But maybe that's something we can bring up, like, these were our recommendations and how you phase these in, like, you all need, like, maybe that's what they need to decide.
Yeah, and
Sorry,
just say, you know, if you're not comfortable. If you're not comfortable with all, you know, we feel these are all good recommendations, but if you think it'd be better to phase them in, we'd recommend doing the elderly, blind, and disabled for 26. And if you'd like to phase it in, 27 for the veterans.
And we're not even recommending anything on the disabled. We did talk about it and voted not to change it, to leave it where it was at, so we could even, like, that's not
Right,
something.
but just saying, yeah.
I think we gotta go the other way, quite honestly, on some of them. Like, I think the disabled, the veterans and the exemption are the most important thing. Because if it's not on the warrant this year, chances are you might see a citizen's petition putting it on the warrant.
Well, that's fine, then they
Okay.
can.
Well, that
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well,
But all I would
that's
say
what
is
I'm
we gotta
saying,
make
you
sure
know.
the elderly exemptions go on this year.
Yeah, little exemptions, definitely, yeah.
So I think that's what we're saying. If they wanna phase stuff in and say, okay, we agree with the veterans tax credits changes, but we think it should be wait till 2027, you know, great. But not the others, you know, not the elderly.
So if I'm understanding, just so you're right now, elderly exemptions and the blind
Mm-hmm.
are your priorities for FY '26.
Yeah,
And if they have to pick a year, you think maybe veterans in '27.
yeah. Yeah, if it seems like a lot for 1 year, then, you know, it's
I
support.
mean, I think if folks know that there's support for it, at least the recommendation, and that I think there has to be some balance as well. I mean, I wouldn't have said this last month.
Yeah.
I'm the
Yeah,
one
I
that
have
had
to be
get the news.
honest, yeah.
Trust me, I understand.
I read some stuff. I
Yeah.
was like, oof.
I'm on the budget committee.
I've
It's
seen
just
discussion
gut-wrenching.
on Facebook on both the elderly and veterans about people wanting to do
I went
petition,
back and looked, yeah.
petition articles, and I said, let us
Yeah.
do our work and bring it to the select board.
I mean, if they
Petition
watch the
away, buddy.
select board meeting and the select board makes the recommendation to hold off to 2027, then they have their marching orders, right? Like that's, I mean, I think I feel like we've done our job to review it, to talk about it, have a split conversation about it, say, okay, we will make the recommendation for you to consider putting it on the warrant, and then it's up to them. I don't think we can go much further than that. But I do understand that less might be more. It might be more palatable for people. And especially because it's not like we don't offer anything right now to veterans. We do. We have some programs and it's there. So I think, yeah. But, yeah. So, I like this. Everybody feel all right about that direction? Like saying we prioritize elderly and go from there?
Yeah.
Leave it all. And
Yeah, just say we understand this is a really tough year, so if you support what we're proposing, but it may be a little bit too much for 1 year, we'd like to, we would support, recommend putting off the veterans till 2027. So.
I do have an issue with one thing on this, which is not possible to determine the financial impact of the veterans tax credit, the all veterans. I projected that with the analysis that I did. I wouldn't want that to be an excuse not to bring it forward.
Right. I was thinking about knocking that line out. Is that what you're saying? Because I think I was looking at it again. I think we should delete it.
I'd like to possibly share some of that analysis with the select board. I don't know if just put it in their packet. I don't know how much time we're gonna have.
Yes, we would 100% can put anything you'd like in their packet, as long as you guys would like it in there.
Or we could add a line that says, see attached amendment on, I think what you did was a prospectus based on other towns, like it was,
It's the whole state.
Right, but I mean, it's not, what I was thinking here with this statement was that we don't know. I mean, we could,
Right.
we have an analysis done, we could add a statement that just says that, look at the
Right,
state.
and I'll be the first to admit that it's not bulletproof, but I remember from our very first meeting that Rustine had indicated to us that probably part of the reason that it wasn't adopted in the past was because of the uncertainty over what the impact might be. And the analysis that I did showed that the impact statewide is not significant.
Right, yep.
The only thing I might want to do is take out I did it at both 500 and 750 because I couldn't remember where we were at on the optional. So you might want to pull that part of it out.
So if you said, how about the financial impact, the exact financial impact is uncertain, yet looks to be minimal, or looks to be?
That's a good question.
Well, I think what he's saying is exactly that. I think we could say that based on an analysis comparison to the rest of the state, that the financial impact appears to be whatever, see attached report. I think people are going to ask the question, what's the financial impact of this? But I also think about,
And when people are uncertain, they'll vote no.
Right. So I think we should also think about like how that would, it's one way to present it to the select board for consideration. It's another thing to think about how it gets presented to the voters, right? Like,
Yeah.
two different.
Well, the difference is that we'll be there and we'll hopefully have some.
We could call it a
dialogue.
potential financial impact,
Yeah.
So that would come later when we do fact sheets. So that's something Corey and I put together. We would come to the select board and make sure that it's, if they're following on your recommendation, that it was what you were intending, and we would look at that. So
What do you recommend?
Well, I'm just saying it's helpful when I'm sitting in here hearing this. I think at this point right now, you're just making the recommendation to the select board to consider putting it on the warrant. And then when they decide what's going on the warrant, then we work with legal to go on the language on the warrant, and then we put fact sheets together. And so Corey and I would probably come back to you, make sure that this was in fact what we thought, bring it to the select board, and we double check all those fact sheets. So I don't know that you need to get too much into that, right?
Okay.
So we can change
Can we
that
take
sentence, though.
Can we just take the sentence out then? Is that what you're saying is
You
best?
can, but I think Mark was hoping that his analysis would at least be presented to the select board.
Okay, so,
At least in their packet.
It's not possible to determine the exact financial impact. We could say, although we have, a committee member has run an analysis that shows us a potential. Like,
well, we're saying too much.
Well, we
As long
can
as-
just, to the
I don't think
select
we
board,
should
I think it's
anything.
okay. I just mean when people are
Right,
asking
I'm
about the
saying-
warrant. yeah.
Right, but I'm talking about in this,
we can make it short.
on this piece of paper, what,
Let's see.
an analysis, a committee member has, an analysis by a committee member has been attached. A financial impact analysis,
There you go.
a financial impact analysis has, performed by a committee member is attached.
And that's when you would say, because you guys would be there, you could say that this is using statewide data. We can't know for certain because we don't know how many veterans there are, but this is what we're seeing in other communities.
Actually, I don't think I need to put a committee member, just put a financial impact analysis attached, and then Mark can speak at it.
Yes, that would be
Is that okay with you? Yeah. Okay. I also think we should update the conclusion now, because we're asking them to put all of the warrants on next year, so I think we could just amend that to say, like, we're making this recommendation with the first priority for this year being elderly considerations and blind, and, you know, we could just.
So just simply
What
say,
we just talked about, yeah.
yeah,
Well, because that brings up an interesting question, because if that we're doing that, and I don't know the answer to it, what's gonna happen to the disabled, where they can only have one that we've changed to 25? Does that mean they're not gonna get one of them this year?
They're still gonna get $2,000.
But how about the 500 that they normally get too? They normally get 25.
No, you're not. You have to. You have to vote to not give that credit anymore. So if we're just saying let's change the elderly exemptions, then the optional and standard credits that we have right now will remain until we say change it.
okay.
Do you think we need to learn more from Janet about what she said about, because I thought what you were
It's something
saying.
about the law, I don't know, from what you were explaining, it had to be combined as one for them to get it now. So I don't know if that's something that went into effect. I have no idea.
I've seen Melissa taking a note.
I'm gonna talk to Janet.
That's all veteran stuff.
That's on the veterans, right? So if
Right.
we don't do that, we don't do the veterans this year, what happens to that? If that could be held on, that's fine, that's
Let me
great.
find out from Janet for you.
But I think,
If Jerry, are you asking if we go ahead and change the elderly exemptions, then do we have to change all the
No.
other exemptions?
No, what I'm saying is if we hold off on the veterans credit till next year and don't do it this year, what happens to the one that we voted on the disabled, that we're gonna combine the two amounts to 2,500? Does that mean that they would only get like 2,000 or 500, or do they get it both? Or I'm not sure if there's a closeout on that.
I think that you've got to separate the two issues. I think maybe just one year you do the tax exemptions, next year you do the veterans credits.
I realize
You know,
that.
you can just.
Yeah, that I do realize that. I'm just saying, the disabled this year, what happens to that? If we can get a follow-up from Janet, that'd be great.
Yeah, and if I could explain a little more, what he's saying is that Janet mentioned something about something had changed where right now disabled veterans have been able to get 2,000 and 500. And so that needs to be updated to be all one because something has changed that's requiring it to be all one. Isn't that what you said earlier?
Right.
So that was why the decision was made to make the recommendation just so it's all. So he's saying that if it doesn't get changed, then as of next year, those who have been customary getting 2,500 would be reduced to 2,000, so they would we don't know, we've got to confirm that with Janet.
I will.
Okay.
But I would prefer to just leave out the priorities from this written document.
Yeah, I think
discuss that at
that's
the
fine,
meeting.
yeah, I think that, I was just thinking the same thing, we don't have to put that in writing, that, phase it in. We can just say, while we're there, again.
That's really up to the.
I'm always thinking less is more on a piece of paper, as you can see by my, how much I tried to hack.
My assumption is,
You're just gonna get yourself in trouble.
it must be that they've been able to get the 2,000 and the other, and maybe they changed something now that says that they cannot.
Are you talking about a different RSA? Because you label it certain disabled vets, but that's about vets whose houses have had to be adapted because of their disability.
7235 is the tax credit for service-connected total disability, which I believe is the one that if they, I think they have to have, in Exeter, we have 36 people that qualify for that $2,000 credit.
Okay.
So I don't think that would be, but I know I did see the language too about the retrofits, but I think it's a pretty, like they have to be 100% service disconnected with a disability in order to get that. And I think we'll check with Janet.
Yeah, just to make sure.
Just laughing at her still.
I cannot wait to have this behind me.
I know.
I'm getting ready to start
You
swearing.
done with the budget, maybe like.
No, I just haven't getting started with that one. Doesn't my stomach's like churning. So, all right, so,
Well, 7235 was modified in July of this year, so I can't tell what the change is.
That might be it then. It does have some funky things to it too, because I was reading stuff like double amputee. There was some weird language in our one. Okay. So
that, actually, here it is. The optional credit for service-connected permanent and total disability, blah, 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 shall be an amount from $701 up to $5,000. The optional tax credit for service-connected permanent and total disability shall replace tax credits pursuant to 7228, 7228B, C, and 7236A in its entirety. Shall not be an addition there too. So that's the change.
that's
probably
the change. So so she recommended to increase that so people don't lose the $500 credit.
Now, has that happened already, or has it happened? It has.
effective July 13th, 2025.
So we should have that should be.
I think it should be on there.
April 1st of 26.
So what I'll do is I'll get the correct wording from Janet. I'll send it to you ladies because you guys are the ones that put the letter together. Is that okay? And you can use and decide what you'd like on there.
So I think we're saying, so the elderly and that and this one veteran's disabled because of it would have a financial loss impact of folks who were traditionally been able to get it, so.
Yeah, but yeah, and again, if we're gonna put one in, we can just leave them all in, and then in the written document.
So you guys can work on the written. What would you like to send to us, or what would you like as part of the select board packet? So you're gonna want the letter,
Yep.
and then what else would you like?
Mark's analysis of work.
Which I'll revise that to pull out the 750.
Okay,
That
perfect.
was
Okay.
simple change, so.
Anything else? Those two
No.
things.
Do we want to share a copy of the current Rockingham exemption sheet from the, like, that overview that we've been looking at to get
No.
members? No?
I wouldn't want
I don't wanna overload it,
to.
because it's not gonna be, the whole meeting's not gonna be about us, it's just, so I don't wanna,
We should have a copy with us, though, just in case anybody asks for current data. We should have.
And how about facts? I mean, that's something we're just gonna bring individually, or should we attach something?
if you've got stuff that you wanna personally speak about, yeah. But,
And Corey, just so you guys are not surprised, on the night of, Corey is filling in for me that night because I will be at a conference. But we'll make sure that you have everything you need. I know, no, you guys are doing, you don't need me. But I'll make sure that Julie has everything that you guys, if you need anything. There's probably a good chance I'll be listening from my conference, so I can text Julie if she needs some information.
Yeah, I feel like if Christine's gonna present it, and maybe Mark speaks, I think I'd rather hear questions from them. than like, I don't really want to get into a mantra of like, and regurgitate everything we've talked about here. I think we all know. I think we can, we can just say like, this was tough, good conversation. They were varied opinions. They were whatever you could say. And then we just move.
And that's why we exist as a committee.
Yeah, exactly.
To reduce the amount.
And hash it out.
Yeah.
Hash it out. So if you think you can, do the change of the verbiage and send it to me, because right now my head is just spinning about this.
For you, Chris? Yes, I can.
Yeah. The certain disabled veteran tax replacing.
Get that table all on the front page.
Yes.
I think it would present that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just printed it before we came, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we don't need to have the, like almost all of it, the writing.
Narrow margins is your friend.
Yep.
Well, I was thinking,
I know, I'm always
yeah,
doing that.
I think I like the way just like, they should understand that we've almost been meeting a year now, you guys, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And we've had good conversation, they can say, okay, they've met, they're doing what they needed to do, and here's what we see. And does anybody have any,
We can get rid of summary of committee discussion, that saves whatever.
yeah, but I think we can get, it's gonna work anyhow, there's only that on the back. I was gonna say, and I can also move the margins up, if you notice the margins are low.
Yeah.
I just printed from Google Docs. So I think that, I'm wondering if there's any appetite to go in here and maybe put some footnotes and put like a 1 first priority.
No.
No? Well, I think at some point we're gonna have to say our recommendations are just, our high priorities. I'm just thinking it would be easier just to mark it and say recommended as a first priority. I
It
don't
doesn't matter to me. I know Christine, you mentioned you'd like to keep this simple and make the
Say in person.
recommendations
Okay.
in person,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's
Yeah. All right, no worries.
the will of everybody, but.
Is it the will of my people?
Well, we all might have a different idea of what should be done on that too, what they should present, when they should present it, so it's kind of a hard one as far as.
Yeah.
I think the elderly definitely,
Yeah.
see, my opinion, I think the veterans should be this year instead of next year,
Yeah.
but that's my opinion.
Yeah. I think we'd all like it to be this year.
And I think
It's
the
just
blind and
looking
the
at
elderly.
the budget for this year is really, really bad, and
You guys are gonna cut 12% right out of there anyway, so we'll be fine.
easy peasy, all that fat, we're just gonna cut all the fat, and then there goes your 12%.
We're all gonna volunteer to work for the town.
There's no fat.
I know, trust me, flat budgets, I know.
How do you like my idea though, Julie? We're all gonna go volunteer to work for the town. That'll cut something out. Can only work from
Jobs.
8 p.m. to midnight, but yeah. Okay. So, yeah. All right, we can revise it. I don't have anything else.
So, we'll make revisions, and then can we just send it to you guys? You just can't comment back as a group?
Correct, so that you guys can't respond all, you can't do any work via email, so I guess
Right.
it would be that, you agree to let them fix up the letter, I think is,
Yeah, well, we
just
know what
because
they're
you're.
gonna put out. I'm
yeah.
fine with that.
Or you can,
I didn't hear that.
look away.
I didn't hear that.
Send out smoke signals. Yeah, I think, and again, I mean, if there is a red flag, can't they email you?
Absolutely.
If you see something.
So you
then
can
they can
email,
talk
if
to
you read something and you want to email the chair, it's just, you can't all talk amongst yourselves.
Right.
So if you see something that, this isn't right, you can, you just can't have a group discussion via email chains and, well, I talked to this one and I talked to all of them, so that meant I talked to everybody, that's all.
If by some chance, because I know right now I'm kind of crazy going what I'm doing, if I can get some facts put together for the elderly exemptions. What's your cutoff point as far as receiving those?
Sure, so are you bringing those on your behalf that you
On
want?
my behalf,
Yeah,
right.
so then you just bring those to the board and you can hand them out.
Okay, I didn't know
the
if I had to
things-
go into a packet or
The things
not.
that go on the packet should be on behalf of the whole committee.
Okay,
So if it's just yours or if you want information on there. So the cutoff is we like it by Thursday afternoon of the week before. So that would be, if possible, let me get that date for you.
23rd?
So, yep, you're so
Okay.
good with that. 23rd by 4:30 would be very helpful for us because we put everything together on Friday morning and then we get it posted, we review it, make sure we have everything.
okay.
But if it's in the packet, that means it's from all of us.
Correct.
Which
That's
we
why
can't do.
That's what I'm saying. So you
you
would
just
have
bring
to
it to the
decide.
meeting.
I think that would be your best bet.
Yeah.
Because those
So
are.
your cutoff was tonight,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
because
is
you
the
guys don't have another
27th,
meeting.
correct?
Correct. It's Monday the 27th. Yep. Is the next meeting. And Julie, you'll be there on the 27th, right?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Oh my calendar
If I may, we had someone show up at select board. Would I be able to change the subject for 1 minute?
Good.
Okay. So we had Fred Bird join the select board on Tuesday night, and he wanted to give some feedback, and the board asked that I give this feedback, and I have it in a packet, and I'm happy to pass it around. And I think that his concern was that he had listened to some of the meetings and felt that some of the members of the committee didn't, in his opinion, understand what a veteran gets when they leave the service if they haven't served for 20 years. And so he came to the board and wanted to explain to folks, if you do 4, 6, 10, unless you completely do your 20 years, you're pretty limited in what you receive as a veteran. And so he is a veteran that served and wanted to share that information. He said, he wasn't complaining about the all veterans tax or credit or anything. That was, as far as he said, a gift is I think how he put it. But he wanted to make sure that this group that was making that decision understood that in order to get some of the benefits that were being discussed, that you need to serve for 20 years. And that there were just a lot of discussion on TV. He was concerned that some of the comments were on TV. Now, everybody is allowed to have their opinion and their right and all of that, but I was requested to just make you all aware that you had another veteran concerned about some of the comments. So I will pass this around and you can check it out. But that's all.
Is that like a copy for all of us, or?
It's just, I can make a copy because what he did, what you want to do to hear what he said is listen to the select board meeting, because it wasn't like a formal, this is just some websites that he wanted to share, because he just felt like there were some comments that weren't correct, and nobody's fault, that, he just felt like some of the folks on the committee didn't know what veterans get and how they get some of the benefits. So
He's just saying we were ill-informed, which is fine to say.
yep.
But also, after 20 years, you get a pension. That's what you get if you work for a company that provides pensions. So
Is it possible to
no one's
get
gonna
a
get a pension after 20
Sure,
years.
absolutely. It's like I said, that's just.
Can I jump in there and say only
Yes.
about 10 to 19%, I forget which figure I was looking at, actually served 20 years?
Yeah.
So
No, very few do.
the idea that everyone who served at all gets a pension is incorrect.
Oh no, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying.
No, I know.
That's what-
I'm just
that's what
making
you-
it clear.
Yeah, at 20 years, that's they've earned a pension. I wouldn't expect anybody who served less than that to get one, because you don't get it anywhere else.
I watched the meeting, so I think what he said was, if you serve 4 or 8 or 10 or whatever, less than 20,
Yeah.
you got the right to be buried in a military cemetery and a grave marker. That's pretty much it.
There's no education benefits.
You have to apply for a loan.
years.
Yeah, I think,
So,
yeah.
this kind of curtails my point about when we get up in front of the select board, but also to remember that there are people, and I think sometimes our opinions can come across that we have the right to them. Everybody does, but this is what I'm saying. So I think when we do present this and we make our case, whether or not we all disagree or have varying opinions about it, I think we need to leave it out of the meeting. And I think we all know we've decided on these recommendations. This is just Jeannie's opinion. Yeah. Then we let the select board ask us questions and we answer. But I think sometimes we get hung up in trying to make our cases. Yep. And like I said, for me, remember I wasn't here in July and I got to go back and listen. And I said, oh, I heard some things too that I was like, ooh. Like, but I know you didn't, I know it wasn't, you probably didn't mean the way it sounded, but it did, like, I think we all have a varying of ideas about how systems work. And I think there's just a broader world out there sometimes, so. Yeah.
And I think, unless we have actual black and white data, facts, I mean, opinions really should be kept to yourself. I mean, we're talking about money here, and that's what it, in data. So base. I would recommend, do what you want, but I would say we base our statements on data and money.
Which Mark's done a fabulous job of helping with that.
Yeah. So, because, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, I say this all the time, and you guys laugh at me and think I'm classifying people, and I talk about people that live in manufactured housing, but it's another classist statement when people say, oh, the people who live in the mobiles, or like, we have to be really careful about what we said, because classism matters to people. Mm-hmm. It does when we put people in pools or saying all veterans get, like, whatever we say about pockets of people has a huge impact on how people survive in this world. It's just, we live in this chaotic society of information where people... I said,
we're all getting stuck in one part or the other, whether we feel like that's appropriate or not.
Everybody's trying to coexist, and I think we're going to do okay. I have a good feeling about we're on a tipping point of something better. I don't know what that is.
And for the record, for anyone who's crazy enough to listen to our meeting, we have good intentions, and we're trying to do what's best for the community and the town, and to be fair and just. And if somebody disagrees with that, that's how we came in here. And if we say things that don't come out right or misinterpreted or need correction, I welcome corrections. But I just would hope that anybody who looks at me and anybody else's committee, that when we're speaking, that we're just trying to help out.
Gotta have balance for sure.
Yep. And yes, and keep a balanced community that can afford, where everybody can afford to live here, or stay here, I should say. I can't say everybody can afford to live here, but everybody can afford to stay here, who's here, and be in a town that's just still accessible. Sure. Amen. Would anybody like to make a motion? Call it a night?
Do we have any other legislative updates? Julie?
There is a new bill about veterans, but there's no detail on it yet. It hasn't been given a bill number, so I can't tell you what it's about, but it has to do with veterans.
Some more to confuse us. Save it for the new year.
Well, yeah, it won't pass until, maybe pass until June or later, so.
All right.
Well, good. You can hold off. Keep holding them back.
Yeah.
Are we going to be meeting in November and December? What are you all thinking?
That's something that I was thinking about. November, I'm going it's Thanksgiving, and then I've got a lot of budget committee stuff. I've got charitable foundation stuff, and I've got going away for Thanksgiving. For the first time ever, my daughter of age 24 has invited us to join them. Nice. In Colorado, so that'll be fun and interesting. So I don't know if everybody else has a lot going on. If you guys just want to keep, we could have a meeting just to kind of do a follow up to this select board meeting.
Are we going to be should we make ourselves available for like the warrant sessions in January?
I think that's going to depend first on if the select board want to recommend it to the warrant. But yes, I think if they do recommend it to the warrant, I'd be really surprised if they don't, but stranger things happen, then I would say that yes, we'd like you to be part of that process, and we'll keep you in the loop of when we're discussing it and that kind of stuff. When I'm looking at the November calendar, are you guys the third Wednesday of the month?
Yeah,
Okay, so Christine, just to keep you,
on task.
no, not at all. You're so funny.
No, trust me, I would like you to.
No, I'm looking at BRC
1, 2,
dates.
3. Oh, yeah, and IBRC,
Trying to find where I
Budget
thought-
Recommendations
Oh, right.
Committee.
I thought that we had, why are they?
So we have our CIP is on Tuesday, the 18th.
And
that's
we
the big
don't have
night.
the backup night is the 19th?
The backup night is the 20th.
Oh, the 20th,
I
okay.
swear to God, if you guys give me 3 nights in meetings in a row, I'll kill you.
Right. So
I'm
that's
on a
why
rampage.
I was just saying,
Yeah.
and that,
And then I gotta get ready to go out of town.
okay.
I
So
would
that's
rather.
that would be your meeting night in November, but
I would rather skip.
that's up to you guys.
So then I have the 17th of December, and I wonder if maybe we do want to have a quick meeting in case we need to do anything to prepare for, when would be the town warrant meetings?
They're usually, I think the first budget hearing is the first Tuesday in January or second Tuesday in January, so you would have time if you met in December?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, so maybe we skip November and round back in December if we, just to have a quick check-in.
If we need to, like if it's, like what would we, okay. All right, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Well, why don't we just do that, and we'll just
Would there be
figure December
draft
unless we need
warrant
to. And
Wouldn't be a draft
November?
warrant article by then, no. But I think you would know,
Know what's coming. But maybe we could, in December, even if we just met for an hour, if we did meet, we could also talk about where we want to place our focus for the New Year's meetings. Like, what do we want, like, maybe we could just talk a little bit about what do we need
Yeah, so
to
moving forward.
move forward with. Maybe we do
And we'll have feedback from the select board at
Yep.
that point, so.
Yep.
Julie, do you have any thoughts on that at all?
No, my life is full of select board hearing stuff, so. Yeah, the volunteers, timeline.
We do appreciate you.
So Christine, do you want me to let Pam know if the will of the board is no November? Is that correct?
I motion that we skip the meeting in November.
So it'd be a second, if so
I'll second it.
chose, and then discussion.
Okay, all
We
in
already had
favor?
discussion.
Yeah.
all the,
Roll call.
Oh,
Chris Suter, favor?
Jeannie Wright, aye.
Julie Gilman, aye.
Mark Furlong, aye.
Jerry Hamel, aye.
Okay, so November meeting canceled, and with your permission, Christine, I'll let Pam know if that's okay?
You have my blessing.
Thank you. And so that would mean your next meeting would be December 17th, and does 6 o'clock still work?
That's right.
Good for you, Julie, at 6 is good?
Yep.
Oh yeah, 6 o'clock.
And just a reminder that anybody that would like to, who will be doing are you two who's doing the presentation? I usually put a name on that.
I'll get up and speak briefly.
Okay.
And then,
Anybody is welcome to speak, obviously, but.
yeah, so I'll just kick it off, but do you guys want to speak after? Do you want to wait till questions or?
I think we should be brief, and I think,
Yeah.
I think the big thing is, how we can't be too brief because we've got to give them why. For some reasons why, like on the exemption.
No, but I mean, brief isn't not going on, but then when they come up with their questions, or if you think I missed something, and you say, yeah, I'd like to elaborate on this, but if they have questions that, especially that bring to something that you have good knowledge on, you feel strongly about, then, yeah, because I certainly don't want to stand up there the whole time.
well, that's what makes me think about what you're saying, because we did talk about making this brief and then having talking points for the meeting, so I think we should probably know what, not making it complicated, but I think if you present it, I mean, I don't want to I just think it should be brief. I think it should be pretty pointed, just say, talked about it, we know that there's an impact on people, that I'm confident that she could present us, and if she misses something, she can always look at us to jump in.
Oh, yeah, and I will, and I'll expect you guys to jump in, so.
I mean, maybe you could talk on your analysis.
If I had some facts that I have, if I just send them to you and you want to present them, would that be okay?
No, that's gonna be for you to give to the board.
Because that's the hard part about, because like the first report that I did, there's a lot of things in there that I think is important for people to know. And if you don't know that, you look at a warrant, you might think that we're just costing the town a lot more money. We're really not. And I'd just like to really, bring some of those topics.
Well, you're gonna bring that, and then after I do the quick overview, if there's, whether it's right after that, or if it's once we're asked, let's say they're asking questions about the elderly exemptions. Right, and which I think is what you're talking, your data. That, if, let's say they say they have no questions, and then I'd say, well, Jerry has a couple of things he'd like to add to about that. And what drove him to, be in favor of this.
And then Mark could
personally.
talk about his analysis of the veterans credits.
Right.
And you could just thank me for taking all the great minutes that
I know. Keeping me in line as best you could.
I think with those, I if
Yeah, and I'm gonna be looking at you guys.
if you miss something, I will speak up to you.
Yeah, and I expect, because I will, because I'll get anxious, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But, and I just, yeah, so I'm gonna be looking to you guys and making eye contact going, is then, would you like to add something?
I can close this out just by thanking them for appointing us. Please rely on us if you have more information. Okay, we'll be fine.
And you set up there, the table does have 4, so you could all sit up there together if you'd like.
Yeah.
It's your choice.
And the last couple meetings have been busy lately too. I've noticed,
Yeah.
Okay.
No, everybody has something they want to say. We'll be able to say
Yeah,
something.
before you go, I was looking at the wrong month when I said December 17th was good. That's Veto Day in Concord, and I don't know how long I'll be up there. So I can or cannot make it, but I'll watch it anyway.
Okay.
I can be here, so.
I think it'll be brief anyhow. I think if we're just kind of checking in and just maybe charting their course for 2026, then we'll be fine. Christine can bring more cookies. I'd like to take one when I go.
I was gonna say, don't worry. You can take it with
I don't
away.
want to be on.
The eating thing. Yeah, I almost brought a sandwich with me, but I didn't have time to make it. I'm so hungry. So let's go home and eat.
I'll make a motion to adjourn
Oh, yeah.
at 7:10 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Suter, aye.
Mark, that was the
Aye.
quickest second I've ever heard. Jeannie Wright, aye.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter
And roll
TV.
call because Julie's
Exeter
online.
TV is the
Go
town's
ahead.
public
Beth and I,
and
Jeannie Wright, aye.
channels.
Jerry Hamel, aye.
Comcast
Mark
channel
Furlong, aye.
and 22. Channel 6
Aye,
is your
aye.
channel.
Julie?
If you have an
Julie
idea
Gilman,
for
aye.
a program, want to host your own talk show,
Yeah,
submit a film,
hope everyone has a-
your
well, we'll
content
see.
on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.